This presentation is on understanding ethnic families' decision-making leading to child placement into residential care in northern Thailand. The flow of this presentation will begin with an introduction, literature review, the research question, conceptual framework, methodology, data collection, and finally conclusion and policy recommendation. The UN Rights of a Child has proposed that family-based care is the better alternative for orphans and children without a stable home, as opposed to institutionalized care, as it provides bad direct caregiving practices with too many children to caregivers and a lack of personalized care that aids in the development of a child's intellectual, emotional, and physical well-being. Currently, there are not enough resources to support so many children in family-based care systems in Thailand. And family-based systems in Thailand may be considered equally bad depending on the quality of care by the caregivers, resulting in more children in residential care in Thailand than in family-based care. This is an overview of alternative care in general within the Thai context. It can be split into informal care and formal care with unregistered government entities considered being informal, while formal care means children have been registered with the government. Informal care can be religious entities that take in children, such as temple, churches, and mosques. But it can also mean private independent charity organizations that operates without a government license. Or it could be registered under government license and be considered formal care. And this encompasses two forms of care, one considered better than the other. From the literature review, it has been found that 22% of children under the age of 17 years old are living apart from their parents. 2.4 million children is the rough estimate, with 35% living apart from their parents who are both alive, found in the northeast of Thailand. There are some discrepancies in statistics because many of them do not account for those living with grandparents in skip generation households or where children are called left behind children. Potentially, 84% of children living in residential care are from ethnic groups. 7.2% of the national population are estimated to be ethnic groups or from ethnic groups, but this is considered an underestimate, as many of these ethnic group people do not hold legal citizenship despite being born and raised in Thailand for multi-generations. Majority of children in residential care are not considered orphans, with majority of them there citing the reason for education and poverty being the reasons why they are placed in a residential care facility. And a conservative estimate claims that 55,000 children are currently living in alternative care in Thailand. Approximately 50% of residential cares operating in Thailand is considered illegal, as they operate without a license approved by the government. Of these residential care, 63% are estimated to be found in northern Thailand. Of these residential cares, 64% are associated with faith, especially of the Christian faith, despite Thailand being predominantly a Buddhist country. So then the research question is, why do families resort to relinquish their children in residential care facilities? Why are they usually of ethnic minority? And why is it difficult for the family unit to remain together in northern Thailand? The conceptual framework used here is based off of San's capabilities framework. This means that I will be looking at the extrinsic causes and the intrinsic causes, such as economic resources, environmental resources, and their social capabilities, including the individual's physical capabilities, emotional capacities, and mental capacity, and how those factors enable or constrain the family unit. The family unit is divided into the actors, who are the direct caregivers, and the financial providers, with the dependents being the children, or those who are not independent. This leads to a family's decision to choose alternative care. Combining the capabilities framework into understanding ethnic families looks at human welfare, human development, and the expansion of people's freedoms and their abilities to achieve their hopes and dreams. This is defined by the person's agency to utilize their resources and goods to transform them into opportunities and achievements. In the context of families and parents, we take a look into their personal environment, their social resources, and see how they convert their inborn resources or environment to achieve their desired outcome. Through the data collection, 9 families were interviewed, of which there were 17 participants in the interviews. I recorded the lives of these families through field notes, audio recording, and photographs of their environment. This is the data collection of that interview. Restoring is about retelling what was told. This helps me analyze the converging characteristics of the families and the divergent characteristics to further understand why ethnic families choose to resort to residential care placement. Of the 17 participants interviewed, 15 were women, 2 were men. It can be speculated that it's because women were still in charge of the household and the private sphere, including child rearing, while men were still considered part of the public sphere, where they were in charge of providing financial, economic means, or when it comes to public policy or politics. 6 out of the 17 family members were illiterate, and another 6 had an inconclusive educational level. Majority of them were parents who did not register their marriage, and all the participants were of ethnic minority. There was a distinction made between primary caregivers versus primary providers, with the primary caregivers meeting the physiological needs of the child, while the primary caregiver providers provided financial support. The reasons cited for child placement was a combination of lack of time, inaccessibility to childcare services such as education, the inability to discipline their children, a single parent's household, a parent involved in drugs, or the inability to find a job within their vicinity. In conclusion, it was discovered that families resort to residential care facility placement has to do with the dynamic of the whole family system that extends beyond the mother and the father of the child. The reasons are multifaceted, complex, and situated within specific cultural practices and economic circumstances of each family system. The narratives indicate an existence of a family support system behind every decision, but these family systems are either economically decapacitated by drugs, for example, physically incapacitated by chronic illness or mental health, or there is lack of family bonds, such as an unwilling female caregiver to raise a child. Most families resort to residential care have had a family member previously in residential care. This suggests that residential care has been a good experience for that older family member to recommend it to others. Good quality residential care are considered in high demand because we cannot separate how crucial education is with caregiving. Not only do residential care provide shelter, food, clothing, it provides an opportunity and an environment that is conducive for education and for learning. Families view residential care facilities as another option in providing education for their children when there are meager distribution of educational resources by the state in areas where ethnic groups live. The policy recommendation includes empowering and strengthening ethnic groups through workshops on parenting, providing programs to upgrade their skills, promote vocational programs with job opportunities attached to successful completion of these programs. These can be grassroots initiatives, private charity organizations, and government-sponsored initiatives. Prevention of illicit drugs has to be heightened, and promotion of rehabilitation and therapy should be strengthened through the public mental health system. This can be done through community centers opened up in different rural communities. Community centers can also run as daycare for a variety of ages, a learning space for adults or single parents to engage with multi-generational families, or to proactively rebuild strong family systems. Fair treatment of employees, fair wages, and a healthy space for single parents to bring their children or provide daycare at the workplace can help keep families together. The promotion of gender equity among ethnic groups and social equity among mainstream Thais is a two-way development to help reconcile the cultural or language barrier between the two. Investment in infrastructure within rural communities are also important, and heightened anti-corruption practices within the government bodies to prevent injustice towards people of ethnic groups. Thank you.